Hello everyone, and for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. I am Sandra Vale, and today I'm going to show you how to make a very simple yet delicious salsa, and also how to can it. So if you got extras from your garden, or there is a sale on tomatoes at the store, whatever the case is, you can save that salsa and have it whenever you want. Okay, real quick, here are the ingredients you're gonna need. Green pepper, garlic, onion, tomatoes of course, jalapenos, cilantro, apple cider vinegar, cumin, salt, and then depending on how spicy you like it, we got some cayenne or crushed red pepper over there. You can add either one of those if you want. And these, of course, are not the quantities, but go ahead and look in the description. I have all measurements down there. Alright, so I have everything chopped up and ready to go. So this was about 2 pounds of tomatoes, which roughly came out to about 5.5 cups. Then 3/4 cup of the chopped bell pepper, 1 chopped jalapeno, a cup of chopped onions, 4 crushed or minced cloves of garlic, and then 2 tablespoons of minced cilantro. Now if you don't like cilantro, then you don't have to put it in, but most of the ingredients in this salsa have to be in here, especially the acidic, because it's very touchy with the acid and low acid between the tomatoes and the onions and the peppers and that, so you really do need to follow all the ingredients. Make sure to get your canner started. You don't want these jars to boil. You just want to get them up to temperature and maybe simmer a little bit. This is a small batch of salsa, so it's going to do 2 to 3 pints, or 5 or 6 half pints. But do that before you move on to this next step. Okay, so we're going to get this all in a saucepan because we have to cook it down a little bit. We're really not cooking it down, but it needs to boil. And that is to get rid of pathogens. We wouldn't want any of those in the salsa making anybody sick. So it's a very important step. Get all that out. And I also cut my tomatoes and my onions and peppers in fairly big pieces, not only because I like chunkier salsa, but also because they tend to, shrink up a little bit, and I like using paste tomatoes. These are Romas, but you can get Amish paste or other ones like that because they have less liquid. So I'm just going to mix that around a little bit, and now I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar and 4 tablespoons of lime juice, which actually comes out to a 1/4 cup. So you can use a 1/4 cup of lime juice. If you don't have it, use lemon juice. If you don't have that, then just use more vinegar. That in there. Now we're going to add a little bit of our spices here. Let me get this. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of cumin, and then just a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. The salt isn't for preserving it, it's more for, to bring out the flavors. I'll just mix that up. So what you're going to do is you're going to get this to a good boil. Now you can turn it down a little bit, and we want it to simmer for like 10 minutes. And then we'll be able to get it in our jars. Okay, the 10 minutes is up, and this is about what it looks like. It does seem kind of watery, but don't worry about that. Don't drain it, don't get rid of any of that liquid. You want it in there. So we're just gonna get our funnel on there and fill up the jars. You want about a 1/2 inch headspace. I'm really hoping to get 3 jars out of this. I don't know. Let's see. Oh goodness. It's hard to tell sometimes. Now, I think we need a little liquid in there. There we go. Holy mackerel, this is going to be so good, you guys. And you know, like a lot of things, this makes a great gift. People really do like getting homemade stuff in today's day and age, because people are busy and a lot of times they can't do it for themselves, you know. So, oh geez, it's not looking like I'm going to get 3, but that's okay. That just means I have some for in the fridge to eat now. And you can, you know, of course, double this recipe if you want more. But it's just me and my son here, so we don't go through it that quick. And I can always make more if need be. So this one I'm going to let cool down, and then I'm just going to store it in the fridge. And it'll stay for quite some time because of all the vinegar in there. But these, now these, just got to get the air bubbles out. Oops, knocked 2 pieces of tomato out. Oopsies. It's important to get, oh goodness, to get these air bubbles out. If you don't do it, you run the risk of having your jars break. I just keep getting out. Well, this is a clean towel, so here we go. Put a couple of them back. So I'm going to do that. Make sure to wipe your rims. You don't want anything on there. You don't want anything to keep from your lids sticking. Go ahead and get the lids on. And your rings. You don't want it too tight. Then off to the canner it goes. Okay, now as you can see, there's not enough water in that canner. I need to add more, so I'm going to boil up some water because you want it where the water goes in at least an inch above your lids. You got to have that. So go ahead and do that, get your lid on, and then when it starts to boil, you know, a vigorous boil, that's when you start counting your time. So once it starts its vigorous boil, go ahead and set your timer for 15 minutes. And you'll do the 15 minutes whether it's pints or half pints. So I'll be back when they're all done. Okay, they are out of the canner and cooling down. One bit of advice for new canners is once the processing time is done, go ahead, shut off that heat, but then just let the canner sit with the lid on for I'd say 10 minutes or so. Then come take the lid off and let it sit another 5 minutes or so before you take your jars out. That's just a little bit of insurance against them breaking if there should be, you know, a drastic temperature change. I've never had that happen, so I'm sure it won't happen to you, but just take your time with it. And so just let your jars sit there on the counter for 12 to 24 hours to make sure they've sealed. Sometimes you'll hear them pinging and you'll know they've pretty much sealed. Otherwise, you're just going to, you know, put your finger on the top there and see if that indent went down. Take your ring off and then pull a little bit on the lid to make sure it's sealed on there good. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. There's a lot of great videos. Check out my playlist for all the food and recipes because there's a lot of canning videos in there. I'll try to put a link to that in the description as well. Anyhow, it was nice talking to you. And you, take care.